And recording. Hello. Welcome to the Podcast of Terror. I'm tired. The production of Galactic Nutcasts. This is a show. Corey and I talk about stuff that's scary.
I like it's the sleepy time napcast of Podcast of Terror.
Real monotone. We'll take it real easy. Just soothing ear sounds.
We can have like ocean waves playing behind us.
You told me I couldn't do any sound effects in this episode. So
I didn't say you couldn't. I just said you have to give warnings, because now we're going to have people nodding off while they're driving to work.
That sweet baritone voice. It'll put me to sleep any day. As mentioned, we talk about horror stuff. That's Corey.
I am the Corey.
Whatever direction he is for me right now, if you're watching.
Of course, some people do go both ways.
I'm pointing both ways, but I do not go both ways. Sorry, boys. We're going to try and switch it up a little bit because I have a very short attention span. So if we didn't, I'd probably get bored. This is our 10th episode, so it's about time that we do something different because America, right?
Yeah. Fucking throw down. Going crazy. Rip the shit out of the walls.
We're not going to do that because I'm trying to sell my house. But what we are going to do is we're going to talk about some news real quick. And then we're going to review the movie Clown later, which, yeah, I'll complain about that movie later. But it's Eli Roth 2014 movie. It's an Eli Roth movie.
Sort of. Yeah, we'll get into that.
We'll get to that later. But we're going to start out with the Corey actually found this. There's the horror comic Hack. Is it Hack and Slash or just Hack Slash?
Hack slash, if you really want to be specific.
That's what I was thinking. So it's Hack Slash. It's heading to TV with the Hitman writer. Since you found this and you apparently know more about it than I do, I'll kind of let you run with this one.
Yeah, I actually know quite a bit, at least about the property. But the news story is the adaptation of the cult comic has spent years in development as a possible film, but now it's getting set up by Relativity Television as a show. Skip Woods, the action-loving scribe, whose credits range from Swordfish, which sucked, to A Good Day to Die Hard, which sucked, to the Hitman movies. I like the first one. I didn't bother to see the second one, but I'm sure that it sucked. He's writing the script, so good on him.
Well, I feel like you hate everything he's ever done, so why is...
I loved the first Hitman movie. I know it's not a great film, but for some reason, I just really enjoy it.
I don't remember seeing the first Hitman movie.
It's got Timothy Olyphant in it. He's bald, but he's excellent in pretty much everything he does. If you go back to Go, he was excellent in that. He's just always great.
Oh, yeah, now I remember this one. I do have the new one to watch. I just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, the first one wasn't far away from the plot of The Transporter, the original Transporter, or all the Transporters, really. Certainly the third one. But there's just something compelling about it. It's still got some good stuff to it. I think Doug Ray Scott was in it as well. Anyways, that's not here nor there. This is based off a comic created by Tim Seeley and Stefano Caselli. You have more some sort of ethnicity to you. You might be able to pronounce that.
Not entirely sure what you meant by that. I was agreeing with your pronunciation of Caselli.
Oh, good.
Now this is turning into a hate crime, so watch your next words, sir.
I wouldn't say hate. I like the dark meat. Hack Slash centers on Cassie Hack, a woman who symbolizes the cliche of the lone girl who survives at the end of every horror movie. However, the emotionally damaged girl not only survived, but has become a killer of killers. Along with a burly protector named Vlad, Hack travels across the country hunting slashers in the vein of Halloween's Michael Myers, Friday the 13th's Jason Voorhees, and A Nightmare on Elm Street's Freddy Krueger. The producers are now out to find a director with the goal to make it dark and gritty in the style of The Walking Dead, which I'm not really sure I like. The thing about Hack Slash, the comic, it started out as at Devil's Due and then moved over to Image after a while. It's a fun, over-the-top, violent book, but it's as lighthearted as it can be with the hyper-violence of serial killers that are monsters that go around slaughtering people and cheerleaders and stuff, and then this, final girl type character and a big giant hulking monster that she teams up with going killing them. It's a really good, fun, dumb comic. It's great, and I'd like to see it keep that sense of humor more than try to go in a serious vein of like The Walking Dead, if that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, but look and see, like what they did with the Constantine TV show. Like they try to keep it in the same vein where he's kind of a jackass, and it lasted a season.
Yeah, but people liked his take on the character enough that they're bringing him back for Arrow. And I think Constantine, what they did is they made it more like Supernatural than they made it like the actual Constantine book, which was Vertigo, which was actually a lot darker. They lightened it up too much. If Constantine had followed the levels of what they were doing on NBC's Hannibal, because that show got dark, that would have been amazing. But I don't know that they felt safe enough to do that for a mainstream audience. Certainly not with something that was based off of comic books. I don't think they understood the property.
Right. Just going along the lines of dark television. I don't know if you watch American Horror Story.
I've watched some of it. Obviously, Aaron watches it, so I catch into episodes here or there.
I don't want to get too far off topic, but my wife, like the new season of started, and it's in a hotel with like Lady Gaga and shit. And like the first episode, some weird mutoid monster is just ass raping people with like a drill strap on in the most disgusting and vain fashion. Like usually it took a few episodes to get that fucked up. Like it got fucked up fast. Like
Yeah.
in an hour, and it was out of control. So I feel like TV can be darker and a little more edgy and more repulsive. You're starting to get away with it, like the South Park shit episode. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I
That,
mean, I think this could be dark in that way, but I wanted to also have the fun humor aspect of it. It's far closer to an Army of Darkness or the later Nightmare on Elm Streets than it is the first Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween or Friday the 13th. There should be aspects of those things to it, but then when Cassie Hack and Vlad show up, they have to bring that kind of characterization that makes it a little bit silly and kind of gives you more of a feel for it. It's maybe closer to a Scream.
yeah, and I don't think the difficult part is going to be finding the channel or the people to back it. It's going to be finding the crowd that can appreciate it so that the show won't stop.
I think this is exactly what horror people like. I think they like that over the top with humor to it. They love dark humor. You know, that's why Freddy took off for New Line. That's why so many. That's why the Chucky movies kept coming out with sequels, because people like to be scared, but they like to have being afraid broken up with the laughter, and they want to see someone making the jokes that makes it okay for them to be watching just horrific shit coming at them on the screen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that.
You know, give me a Patrick Bateman. There's just so many great examples of humor and horror mixed together. That's what I'm hoping that the show is. I don't want them to go super serious like The Walking Dead. But The Walking Dead is a very good adaptation of the comic. So if they're just talking about we want to make something that respects the comics transferred to television, then yeah, I can appreciate that.
And see, I don't watch The Walking Dead, and I get a lot of shit for it. But to me, like The Walking Dead has just become a commercialized cash cow.
Oh, it absolutely has. I think that they didn't do themselves any favors by doing another show, especially as a direct lead into the new season starting up. We didn't even watch the other show. We tried the first episode and we're like, "Ah, this sucks," and stopped. And I heard it got better eventually, like towards the last episode or something. But we were kind of like, no, this is boring as shit. So why do we want to watch the preamble to a show that we've already been watching for 9 seasons? And then this season started and we felt a little bored by it. Even though there's a lot of action going on already, it's been a long time watching the show. After a while, it loses its effect. The second episode of the season was actually pretty good, but it's kind of like I can't keep rooting for characters that I know are all probably going to die eventually as the actors move on to other things, and it is just the same shit over and over. There's no new story to it.
Yeah, I mean, what they need to do is they need to end it before everyone gets sick of it,
Right.
which I'm sure is easier said than done. But it should have been written in a way that it was going to end instead of, I'm sure, just left open ended, and it could be interpreted however the hell they want, and that sucks. Like what? Not horror related, but one of my favorite shows is 6 Feet Under, And when the guy wrote it, he wrote everyone's death into the story, uh, so that there could never be a spin-off. The characters are dead. They're done.
Right.
And
Unless they went right from that to Dead Like Me.
I mean, I guess, but I don't think so.
Well, it was competing station, but still, I think that this could be fun if they do, because we're talking about a Friday the 13th show coming out. We're talking about a couple other shows that are coming out. Scream is out right now. If they do this and they have them go after like their big bad every season, and it is them kind of stalking them and doing maybe minor storylines along the way to get to it, that could actually be really good. It becomes how much can they do for how long if every episode is some homage to Freddy, to Michael Myers, to whatever.
Yeah, I feel like the best way to go about it would be kind of like how Constantine did it, where every season had, as you said, a big bad, and then every episode had like a lesser demon, lesser evil that they were going after, and there was kind of two conjoined storylines working at once.
Yeah. And then even if they did it just in like they split the seasons up and they did 10 episodes and 10 episodes, and those 10 episodes were about one, and then the next 10 episodes were about another, that would work as well. It really depends on where they land on a network. And I assume it's going to have to be something like a TNT or a CW. It's not going to be on the main 3 or 4 channels. It just, I don't see it working there. It would be great if it landed on Stars as an off season to like what they're doing with the Evil Dead series, Ash versus the Evil Dead. If they did this like halfway to the next season.
Yeah, who picked up the Nightmare on Elm Street or the Friday the 13th one? Was it
Friday the 13th was CW?
Okay, so yeah, maybe CW is going to be the home for horror stuff now. Which
it certainly works by the fact that it's a teenage girl, you know, and her storyline. It starts out with her at a high school, and the first murderer is the lunch lady.
Let's see, now you're ruining things because I never heard
it. Something of a spoiler.
I guess I didn't realize Arrow was on CW. I don't ever watch CW. There's not a single show on CW I watch, so I got nothing. I would watch this though.
In relation to watching Scream Queens, you should check out Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. It's not scary at all, just like Scream Queens, but it's got that same kind of dumb, over-the-top humor.
See, I've been trying to get my wife to start watching Scream Queens with me, and now we have like 5 episodes piled up. So I just said fuck it and started to watch it. Got 10 minutes in, she came home, I had to turn it off. So I suck at this game real bad.
We're actually really still liking it. I'm surprised at how much I enjoy the show because it is dumb, but it's just the right kind of dumb.
I haven't seen enough of it to really form an opinion, so I'll take your word for it. You win, sir.
Hey, we're gonna do the whole season, right? We're gonna review it at the end.
Yeah. My intent is I will watch it. It is DVRing it. It is piling up. I just haven't been keeping up with it.
Yeah,
so I will watch it.
Well, hopefully this show, if it happens and if it comes out, it will be more of a horror show than what Scream Queens really proved to be.
Like I said, I know nothing about this, so I kind of just took your word for it. It looks and sounds like something that I would definitely be interested in. So I hope it happens. I really do.
My wife was getting into the comic for a while. We've got the first few trades, and she was actually enjoying it. And she doesn't really read comics, so yeah, I think there's something there if you're a horror fan.
Well, I was thinking about it. I'm like, I could totally read these comics. It sounds really interesting, and I'm like, but then I have to read.
Yeah, well, it's mostly pictures.
Yeah, but then I got to purchase comics, and I might as well start doing crack. Comics and vinyl, I should just start doing heroin. It would cost me less
piss my money away.
Yeah, it's fucking outrageous.
Hey, so you can find out about our network where we talk about pissing other things away, like on sci-fi and on comics. We talk about comics and a lot of other shit by going to gncast.com. You can also find the feeds for all of our shows, including this one in the mega feed or in our separate feeds by looking up Galactic Netcasts through iTunes or Stitcher. You can give us a 5-star rating or a thumbs up on either of those. You can join the Galactic Collective by going to our Facebook group. If you look on Facebook and look up Galactic Netcasts, you can get on to things from there. And you can email us at galacticnetcasts@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail message by calling 805-328 3966. We'd appreciate any kind of feedback, certainly suggestions for movies, because as we're about to tell you, Matt made a suggestion this week, and I think he kind of regrets it.
100% regret it. Before we get into it, I made a promise to a nice man from New Zealand that I recently met, Ian Richardson. He works for Shoutouts. So, Ian, here's your shout out. And if you don't listen to this episode and prove to me that you listen to this episode, I'm going to fly to New Zealand and punch you in your mouth.
I will Xena scream at you and throw my, what was the thing that she threw? A chikara, chicka, bang bang? I don't remember what that thing was called.
Her Chick-fil-A, I was busy staring at her boobs because I was 14.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, we just kept waiting for that lesbian scene between her and Gabrielle.
Never happened.
No, it was a lie. It was all a lie.
14-year-old me still has a boner.
They could have just tribbled. Okay, so
so we watched this 2014 movie Clown. What was it? Written by, starring, directed by.
It was, I believe, it was only produced by Eli Roth, and he is listed as the main star in it. You never really see him.
No, because when he becomes so he's listed as Frowny the Clown, but by the time he's Frowny the Clown, he's in such dense makeup that you can't tell that it's Eli Roth.
Yeah. Now this was directed by John Watts, and he's one of the writers on it. John Watts is the guy who is doing the new Spider-Man movie from Sony, now that it's tied into the Marvel universe.
Interesting.
So yeah, very strange. What is the other? I thought that there was a movie that he had done that you were talking about. Was it Cop Car or something?
I've never watched Cop Car. The Fuzz, we talked about The Fuzz. He did that. That was a TV movie. I don't know. It doesn't look like he really did anything that we talked about. Cop Car does star Kevin Bacon, so I feel like that is a movie I should watch.
Yeah, that's got to be up there.
But it's
anything
not.
With Kevin Bacon has got to be at least worth seeing. It's not like Nick Cage yet.
Oh God, we're going down a deep dark rabbit hole if we keep talking about these people.
But my wife, I told her, I said, "Oh yeah, Eli Roth," and she goes, "Ah, shit." And I said, "Well, he didn't write it. He didn't direct it. He just apparently appears as himself." She goes, "Well, then maybe he dies." And we got all excited because we're going to see Eli Roth die.
But what pissed so I didn't realize up literally till this moment that he did not write or direct or anything, because every instance of gore or something was kind of over the top in like an Eli Roth fashion. So I remember watching it, and my buddy Brad was at our house. I watched it this morning finally, and Brad and I were watching it as I worked from home. And he's just like, "Oh, what the fuck are we watching?" And I explained it to him. Which, for anyone listening who doesn't know, this movie is about a dad who finds a clown suit for his son's birthday party because their clown cancels and he can't get the clown suit off. And then through investigation finds out that it's really a demon, and it like takes over his body, and he starts to turn into Frowny the Clown, and he just starts murdering everybody, mostly children.
Yeah, he has to kill 5 children to break the curse, and they do not shy away from it.
I missed that part of the movie.
5 children, because as Peter Stormare's character tells you, there are 5 months in winter, so one for each of the winter months. I don't know what the fuck kind of mythology that was, but apparently this goes back to the original mythology about where clowns come from. This is a old story, like the oldest story about a killer clown, and they did their research for what it's supposed to be about.
Huh. And going back, I really like Peter Stormare. He was actually in Until Dawn, the video game.
Oh yeah, he's excellent. I mean, he's in so many great things, but certainly going back to Fargo, to tons of shit that he was in. Andy Powers, who plays the dad in this. The only thing that I really saw on his resume that I would say is something to like really look out for is he was from Oz, the TV series.
Oh wow.
Laura Allen was in the 4400 and some other genre TV stuff. And yeah, I can't think of anybody else that was at all important in this.
No. The dad played a minor role who was an asshole. There was the one point when he kills that first kid. I felt kind of bad for him.
The
Like,
oh, the one with the thing, the saw that blew up, that
yeah, like he is very
the
crude,
accidental killing.
very crudely trying to kill himself with two table saws that he like duct tapes to a cinder block and then tries to tip over a chair. I'm like, what the fuck? It was strange and weird, and the razor blade shot through the kid's chest, and I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
The nice little friendly kid who keeps showing up and he's like, "Gee, mister, you look really bad. Gee, mister, you need something to eat? Yeah, I need to eat your soul, kid.
Yeah.
Well, I'll bring you some Twinkies."
that,
So that, yeah,
so
that was sad.
that part of the movie was also the same point at which I thought to myself, this movie is fucking long.
Oh yeah.
This shit just does not move at all. I remember stopping it to, I don't know, scratch my ass or something more important. And it was like, there's 45 minutes left. How does this not end right here?
Well, it also feels like a couple of different movies because when it started out,
Right.
the opening just goes right into it. It's just they're having a party for their one son. The dad's at a house that he's renovating because he's a real estate guy. He finds a clown suit randomly and is like, "Oh, I'll put this on and go take care of this." And then immediately is stuck in the clown suit, can't get out of it. The first day is like, try to cut it off with this. Oops, slit my wrist. Try to get my nose off. Oh, there goes half my skin. The dog eats the nose, which later comes back. So the dog gets infected with the clown demon, which was awesome. But it starts out feeling very much like a trauma movie. That first half hour or so I'm watching it, I'm thinking this is just basic bullshit, dumb horror movie, no budget. Let's see what happens. By the end, with the full transformation from the clown actually looked pretty fucking scary. It
Yeah,
was
it
it
looks
was
super
vicious.
badass. I mean, they show the video. Peter Stormare's character shows him the video of like the demon and the initial hoot nanny with the costume and shit, and it was pretty rad looking. But I don't know. I did not. I'd heard about this movie a while ago, and I think it was before you and I started doing this podcast. And I was like, yeah, I'd probably waste some time and watch that. And then I watched it, and it's fucking bad. Like it's such a good concept that could be done very well, and it's bad. It's fucking terrible.
The execution was not ideal, absolutely, but I was glad that they didn't shy away from what it was supposed to be. Like he viciously kills some kids
Oh, for
and
sure.
and then tries to get his wife to protect their son to bring him another child so he can get that fifth one and finish off. And then there was that scene where it looked like he was going to kill their unborn child because it turns out, spoilers again, they tell you this early, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, there was no holdback on killing kids in this, but there was only a few, and some of them happened off screen, or the first one was an accident. But that whole thing in the ball pit, and the Chuck E. Cheese,
And
and chasing that kid through the tunnels, or the kid going to look for his brother, scares, gets the clown's attention, so the other kid that the clown has runs off, and then that kid gets slaughtered. It's like, oh, well, that's excellent.
yeah, it was weird that they have the house moment where they figure out like where he is. And I was like, oh, where do they like go to a carnival or something? And it's a fucking Chuck E. Cheese. And I was kind of like, it makes more sense, but it's still pretty typical.
It absolutely is. I mean, there's this place that used to be local to us called Tube Town. When I was with my ex, her kid was young enough to, he was like 4 or 5. We go to Tube Town all the time. The cool thing about Tube Town was that you pay for the kid, and all the adults with that kid got in free. So that was when I was young and thin enough and could hold oxygen, so I could actually go and play in those things with the kid, which was fun. But they are a little terrifying. One, they smell like sweaty socks of 10-year-olds, and two, you're just stuck in there. If you don't know your way around, and those tubes to a little kid seem like forever, you can't just instantly get out. You have to kind of like worm your way through. And if somebody was in there and was going to grab you, you can't just go.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time I was inside of any sort of like tube maze or something. When there's like the Imagination Discovery Museum or something in St. Louis, that's like an adult tube maze and other shit. When I was down there the last time, a bunch of my friends went, and I did not go. But no bueno. Like that is not something that I want to do. That is not up anywhere on the list of things that I'd like to do, regardless of if a demon is chasing me or not. I do not want to climb around in a series of tubes in which someone's sweaty nuts have been inside.
Yeah, I'm claustrophobic too. So I like anytime I think about being underneath my house in the crawl space, or I have friends who've gone spelunking and stuff, and they're talking about crawling through places where the the level of pressure from the top rock to the rock that you're laying on is enough that you have to hold your breath to get through. I just freak out. I totally spaz on that. It makes no logical sense at all, but I can't handle it. So again, more terrifying to me maybe, but just the fact that they tell you that this movie's about a scary clown, they give you a scary clown, and they give you what a scary clown demon would do, which is I need sacrificial children, and they go for it. They go for it through the whole thing, and I at least appreciate that. It's always one of those things that they say are one of the sacred things that you don't do in movies, in horror movies. You don't kill kids, you don't kill animals. They did both.
Yeah, maybe that's why this movie was never popular.
Probably, but also, I mean, it seems like it's a small movie. It didn't seem like it was something that hit theaters and was going to go anywhere anyways. And it
I,
really, from the beginning, felt like a trauma film. I thought that's exactly what we're going to get. I thought it was going to be something that was almost filmed just on video instead of an actual film.
that apparently happens a lot now, and you can't even tell the difference because cell phone cameras have gotten so ridiculous that they look just fine.
Yeah, I mean, this could have been right on the corner of being a found footage thing, but it wasn't.
Luckily, it was not because fuck, man, found footage films are starting to get a little ridiculous. Um, I'm just trying to see if there's anything going on, anything special. I mean, it got some praise from like mom and pop type magazines, but IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes did not think very highly of it. It was like a 5.6 and a 57 or something.
Yeah, so it's like a D plus.
D plus at best. It's also was apparently released in 3D and it was
Oh,
Canadian.
yeah, that can't be good. It it it's probably would have been tacked on 3D, one of those things where it wasn't filmed in it, so they just throw in stuff at the end to try to get the extra money. That's always a bad sign for a movie. I would just avoid that shit.
Yeah. It seems like it was mostly foreign for the release, UK premiere and Scotland, and that's about it. It was released theatrically in Italy, November 13th, 2014. That was it, and then DVD and Blu-ray on March 2nd, 2015.
Yeah.
It doesn't even say like budget.
It doesn't seem like it could have cost very much, but they did put effects in for the clown itself. The clown progresses from being what is just a simple thing to being something very in depth and kind of fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
And I thought that was good because there was a growth to what it starts at. Because it seems like at first it's just something you're not going to take seriously. And by the end, you do. I feel like that there was some actual terror there. There was some reasoning. Yeah, there was still the dumb things of like, oh, the grandfather, she tells him not to take the kid back to the house, and he's like, we're gonna go back to the house.
yeah.
And walking through there. So you deserve to get your jaw ripped off, granddad. But
That was actually really fucking cool looking.
that was really cool. I I think that as far as horror movies that you're not really invested in, that you're watching late night on cable and you just kind of don't give a shit, at least it's honest with itself, and it's honest with the story. Whereas it's not just a cheap piece of crap. It's not just a ploy of dumb shit and here's some tits to keep you interested for a minute.
That's
It
true. There were no tits.
There was no tits. God damn it.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that they did not rely on tits and drug use to make a horror movie.
right. Yeah, it. You felt bad for some of the victims. You felt bad for the guy who turned into the clown demon. At the end of the day, it actually there was some empathy to it. There was some thought in the story, and that makes me think that it's better than horrible.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty valid point because the fact that the whole movie is based on this guy trying to do something nice for his kid and ends up just getting fucked.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
You don't put on random clown suits. I think that's a good moral lesson for any kind of day. Just
yep.
Red
Don't.
house, clown suit made of skin. Fuck it, don't do it.
Yeah,
It'll be okay. Dressed as a cowboy, it worked in Parenthood.
I could not have said it any better myself. 1.5 dead hookers.
I'll give it a 2.5.
2.5. Yeah, you're
I
more.
don't know that I'd ever watch it again, but I could see putting it out for other people to say, "Look at the scary shit, clown."
There's about 47 things I could think of doing before watching this movie again. Punching myself in the nose is one of them.
But going to a Tube Town type situation is not.
It's not. I would definitely go to Tubetown, USA before watching this movie again.
Yeah.
Because there's at least 7 sluts there. Sluts.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry. I spent last
Moms.
week in Vegas following around sluts. So back to being an adult.
Yay.
I think that wraps it up for this episode of the podcast. It's here. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, man. So if you listen to the episode and like we're already asking for feedback, let us know how you feel about having the news story at the beginning. We're trying a different format. See if you like it. See if you don't. See what we could do different. Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. We're kind of doing this for you to listen to. You know what I mean? So we value your opinion greatly. Also, if there's a movie that you know of that we haven't talked about, you think we might like, anything, please let us know. Also, I will be what's today? Today is October 19th. This episode will come out tomorrow, the 20th. Next Saturday, the 23rd, my wife and some friends and I will be going to 2 haunted houses in Berlin, Wisconsin, in the Tannery, which is a actual haunted location, mind you. You can do haunted tours there, but there are 2 haunted houses within that establishment that we'll be going to, and I plan to do a brief summary. I don't want to get too in depth because A, you weren't there with me, so I can't really have a good conversation, and B, no one who listens to this podcast probably has ever heard of Berlin, Wisconsin.
No. That implies I listen to this podcast.
That's true. Well, I'm talking at you right now. So,
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, and also something else. Since we're recording, and I thought about this, and I think I'm going to drag you into this, is on October 30th on the Travel Channel, I believe. There is a live exorcism.
Oh.
Yeah. My wife was a big fan of this Chip Coffey character who used to be on Paranormal State. He's doing a live exorcism on TV on the 30th. So I think we should do that too, or at least talk about it.
So someone's going to try to banish evil spirits over the TV. If I watch it in HD, does that mean that my wife is going to disappear?
Only if you wanted to.
Oh, that's good. Maybe I'll put it on the low def.
Go to the not 1000 channels, depending on your cable provider, for the low definition so that the contents of your house do not disappear.
I did put into my DVR, I think starting tomorrow, there's a new thing on the Game Show Network called Hellevator. I know absolutely nothing about it, but it looked a little interesting from the picture and the pitch. I think Jimmy Palmiotti from DC Comics is the one who mentioned it, but I just thought it looked interesting enough because it looks like something where they scare people, and I thought I'd give that a shot.
Fuck yes, I'm gonna go add it to my DVR as soon as we get done with this, which is pretty much right now. So
right now,
thank you very much for listening to the podcast here, and hopefully we will all enjoy your company next time. Internet.
Yeah, see you in the ball pit.
Shit. Have a good night. All right. Let me fucking save this. Save as. So yeah, what I'll do is edit this, and I'll probably be out tomorrow. Oh shit! It might be tomorrow afternoon.
That's fine.
I gotta go to our temp office tomorrow, because we moved 32 more users into a temporary office because our office is full, and our next office won't get built for another year.
Yeah, we're running out of desk space at my office.
We just built this office 2 years ago.
Oh well, that's dumb.
Yeah, 70,000 square foot office is full.
Ours is a lot of it's a factory, and then there's offices somewhere in there, and then like the front, and then a couple of desks here and there. But it's getting to be kind of overkill of like, you keep bringing in engineers, they got to sit somewhere. I'm not